Alright, finally we have a nicer day, and I thought I would record outside for once here in Wallace, Idaho. I first discovered Wallace while traveling back home to my family. I was living in Seattle. At the time, my family was in Pittsburgh, and I think the first day of that trip, I ended up staying the night here. And really enjoyed the slow pace of everything. See, I think part of the reason that Idaho has done so much better in regard to the pandemic is that the pace of life is very different, right? One of the big reasons we have so much trouble getting people to wash their hands or to keep their mask on in Seattle is that people are constantly on the move, right? I talked about this with my intermittent fasting videos, how people eat unconsciously and they don't even know how much they're eating. And as a result, it's very hard to get anybody to keep their mask on because they're eating all the time. I mean, you can't go on a bus and not be exposed to somebody with their mask off because they need to nibble on something. It is so ingrained in the culture. So to give you an idea, I've traveled to other countries around the world where the smoking rates are a whole lot higher. I believe in China, actually China's not so bad because only men smoke over there. I think it's like 60% of men, almost no women. I've been to Poland where both men and women smoke a lot. I think it's like 35% each. And the difference is that in other parts of the world, even though people might smoke at a high rate, they smoke when they smoke. I mean, probably not this year because of the pandemic, but in other times in times past, people would huddle outside and they would smoke like it's a social activity, like kind of like how we handle drinking or maybe marijuana use, right? You don't see people use, well, I guess you do see some junkies who drink, but not a lot, right? You don't see people use marijuana like a junkie, right? Unless it's like mixed with other hard drugs, but generally people, it's a social activity, right? But here in the United States, smoking is a junkie activity, which means that people are smoking. See, here in Wallace, the smoking rate might even be higher than in Seattle, I would imagine. I don't think they ban smoking in all the bars here, so, well, maybe in the city, but not in the state. But it's not a junkie activity. See, watch my video. I don't think we've seen anybody smoke along the sidewalks yet, right? But I think that's part of the reason why Seattle and New York, where were some of the other hot spots? And I wasn't surprised that see when we think about workaholic cultures, usually Japan comes to mind, but in Japan I think people know when to give it up. Here in the US we might not be as workaholic as Japan, but we don't know when we should sacrifice in order to because there are other important fish to fry, right? In Japan, they snap right out of it, right? I wasn't surprised. I've been to Japan a few times, and for example, in Japan, I don't think they have as many smoking restrictions, but the ones that they do have, people really respect them. They don't fight back and go, "It's my right to smoke wherever I want." In Japan, they might be addicted to their work, but as soon as they realize that it's endangering themselves and everybody around them, they don't go, "Oh, it's my liberty to go to work," right? Oh, I wasn't surprised there. But I think we can learn a thing or two from some of these other countries that I've been to, or even just around the country, right here in Wallace. I stayed in that place one time. That's pretty nice. I think they've closed because of the pandemic. Yeah, that's the hotel that I stayed in last time. Did I record a video there? I hope I did. I hope we learn a thing or two. It's kind of like, I have that problem myself. A couple weeks ago, actually 2 months ago, I was trying to learn how to play the board game Pandemic because we're having a Computer Olympia tournament on that in just a few days, actually. I hope I got all the rules right. My program's probably not going to do all that well, but as long as I get the rules right, I'll be pleased. And I was trying to watch a 30-minute video. And I kept wanting to skip parts of the video that I thought were boring, but then I would skip so much that I couldn't understand it. I went backwards, forwards, and before I knew it, I had spent like an hour on that video, and I didn't even get what I want, when I could have just watched 30 minutes. And my experience reminded me of the fast culture, right, that we live in. And how you're not being fast anymore if you get anything wrong, right? You save 20 seconds not washing your hands, and then you spend 3 weeks sick, right? You unconsciously eat all the time, and then you got to make up for that by going to the gym or eventually having a heart attack and spending a month in the hospital. You're in a hurry to meet the right person, and you end up getting a divorce and wasting the best years of your life. You get the idea. Sometimes the slowest life is the fastest, right? You get the idea. That's why I came out to Wallace. I can't take the fast pace in Seattle anymore. I'm pleased that we're still in phase 1 over in Seattle so I can work remotely. Phase 2 kind of requires me to go back, at least for the meetings and stuff like that, and I could probably still stay here, but anyway, yeah. I'm so pleased to be back in the Rockies. My first time going to, let me think about some places in the past where I've considered my home. I spent 8 months living in New York, and every day I was there, I was never really home. It felt more like a business destination of some sort. I only went there to work there, right? I didn't feel at home. That's why I didn't stay there for very long. I lived in Rochester for 4 years. Actually, at first I felt at home. I remember the first day when I drove into Rochester. It was 4 in the morning when I got to Rochester, and when I saw the city skyline from a distance, I thought to myself, because I was going there to pursue my PhD, I thought to myself that this is going to be where I find that big discovery, maybe win a Nobel Prize, and I'm going to find my future wife here. That's what I thought. Don't think I found my future wife there, but I had a lot of good practice doing it. Still making good use of that practice. But I don't want to get married anymore. I just recorded a video about what happens after you get married, in terms of... go watch that video. It's a dilemma that I haven't resolved yet. Okay. And in 2016, I took a trip to Gdansk Bay, Poland. And when I got to Gdansk, and I took a walk along the what is that? There's one boulevard along the beach, and then one that's kind of perpendicular to that runs through the business district. And I took a walk along the business district, and I really felt at home again. The slow pace of life, and the fact that I couldn't understand anybody really helped as well. Because when I overhear things, I get into trouble a lot. Especially now during the COVID environment, you hear a lot of different opinions, right? People say it's overblown. Other people say, how dare so-and-so come so close to me and not wash their hands. And I get too involved in conversations like that. Politics. Thank God the election is over. So I really felt at home when I first arrived in Gdansk. I feel the same way here in Wallace. 2 months ago I was in Missoula. I hope to enjoy the colder weather now. The only problem is that with my intermittent fasting, I underestimated how difficult it would be to do when it was so cold. Because this is the first day I've been able to come out for a walk. And walking used to be how I passed the time when I had major cravings or when I was lonely. One thing I know I'm underestimating, but I hope I get over it, is how do I continue fasting after I return to work? Especially once we don't have to wear a mask anymore. Right now the mask has kind of served as the excuse of why I can refuse food. And obviously the environment is very different. And once we go back to 2019, I don't know how well my fast will hold up. I think it will, because I've learned a lot of things in the last year about myself. I like it. I like fasting. I feel very lightweight and nothing can bother me. And most importantly, I feel I've been liberated. So for example, coming out here to Wallace used to be, well, maybe not Wallace. Wallace is close enough. But going out to like the Yellowstone National Park, or going back to my family in the East Coast, used to be difficult for me because I would have to think about how I was going to eat. And now I'm much more happy-go-lucky with, you know, if I can't get to my favorite foods, there will be new foods to try. Right? Yesterday, I was about to prepare something when I realized it was 11 o'clock and the stores were closed. I realized I didn't have a certain ingredient on hand. And in the past, that would have really infuriated me. I would have went online to see if there's any 24-hour Walmarts, and I might have even driven a good distance to go get it. And yesterday, I'm more happy-go-lucky. You know, let's try something new, right? And that was... See, this is what I'm talking about. Here in Wallace, people actually sit down to smoke and to enjoy their smoke, right? Over in Seattle, very fast pace of life. Living very haphazardly, which means that very unadaptable to changes in circumstance, right? COVID comes along, rioting comes along, you don't have toilet paper at the store, all of a sudden people seize up, right? I think that's part of the reason why Seattle had such a difficult time with COVID. Oh, for a second I thought that said bat soup. It says hot soup. Alright, anyways, how many hours of fasting am I up to today? About 13 hours so far. I don't think we'll have such a beautiful day again for a while, so I hope to make a 24-hour fast to make the best use of it.